Yes, sir.
All right. So now we begin. Penetration testing is a subject that should be CYS212. Yes, CYS212. So this one is actually a practical one in terms of conducting the lessons as well as writing the exam. This one is a practical aspect of the course, and it is meant to take a learner through the practical aspect of actually doing the ethical hacking. Okay, so when we say ethical hacking, in general, we are talking about a person who has been allowed to access an IT infrastructure or to access computer systems with a view to test if they have vulnerabilities which can be exploited. If they have, the ethical hacker will try to penetrate, and after that prepare a report that is going to be a sort of a remediation report, a report to correct the situation in the network infrastructure. So that is an ethical hacker, person who has been allowed to penetrate the system on agreement. Okay? Assuming Shanya, you penetrate the system. Then when you penetrate the system, you will bring out those issues which are showing the weaknesses of the infrastructure. Okay, so that report also recommends or makes recommendations of what corrective measures or corrections which are supposed to be done on the network infrastructure so as to protect it. So that when the real hackers, those guys who are outside there hidden as criminals, try to hack, they'll find that actually this network infrastructure is secured. Okay? So that is the ethical hacking. A penetration tester is actually an ethical hacker. Okay? He's also a person, he is one and the same person. Sometimes he can be called penetration tester to carry out penetration testing, or interchangeably can be called an ethical hacker to carry out ethical hacking. So when they say ethical hacking, it's a person who is a penetration tester, but with ethics. They abide by ethics. Okay. They abide by ethics because computer systems, the way they are, if you penetrate them, you'll be the only one who knows that, oh, I can get through like this. Okay? Others don't know. They think they are the only one with a password. Okay, so this course is going to show you some tips, tricks, and ways of how you can, on an elementary level, penetrate a system or use certain tools to penetrate a system. Okay, as it prepares you to become a professional in cybersecurity. So that is that's the aim of this penetration testing. So it's to carry you to be able to penetrate system or ethically hack systems from the practical aspect. Okay, so last time I think, sorry, not last time. The other group we were talking about, we suggested that the the school maybe introduces some ethics in the curriculum. I don't know if by now they have introduced some ethics or some document that spells out ethics by which all of you must abide by. So those ethics must be binding such that maybe a person who takes this career must sign off. So that if you are found to be wanting or in terms of abrogating these ethics, you can be expelled, not really expelled. Your license, do you have your license? Your license can be revoked. Sometimes I'm accountants. If an accountant is found in fraud, if they are caught, whatever, but yeah, the ones who, the regulating body of accounts, they will revoke their practicing certificate. They will never practice again. They will never be accountants again. Revoke. So even if you have certificates, even if you apply for a job, during the interviews, they will say, give us references. And then after they interview them, those guys who interview, they will go, they will check all the bodies that are concerned. If they find that you have a criminal record and your license was revoked, you will never be an accountant. So that's the same thing also with this. Okay. I don't know if you are aware of any ethics. Are you aware of any ethics? Or are there any ethics that you are aware of?
No, sir.
Maybe the why? You know why? It's because in this field we become like we you know how thieves behave, or how thieves behave, or how witches behave. They
Yes, sir.
are
Which is
hidden.
yes, sir.
They are hidden. But when they find that they can do this something, they can enter someone's house and listen to what everyone is saying in that house without seeing them because they have remained invisible. They can decide to be harmless, and at the same time they can decide to be harmful. Are we together? So all in all, you will be you will be you will be certified a cyber security professional who is able to penetrate into systems and decide to be harmful or decide to be harmless. Just like a witch who will be in your house seated, no noise, silently listening. They can decide to be harmful if they want, or they can decide not to be. That is the same way you can be also. Are we together? You are in the same
Yes, sir.
class and maybe you have used some tools to penetrate somebody's phone or a number of phones. You read their messages, you watch their videos. Them they don't know. They're even using the phone. They're even calling some people. you read their documents, you listen to their music, you come out of that phone. Again, another time when you wish, you log into their phone, you watch the videos, you look at their pictures, you look at everything that they do. You log out. Again, you log in. Again, you log out. Again, you log in. Now, if you wish, because they don't know that you do that, you can walk in and out. You can say, okay, let me just wipe it off. Button, button, fire. When you press on the button, red, fire, the phone is wiped off. And the person will go, oh, my phone was hacked. Not really hacked. Maybe my phone reset and everything is gone. They don't know it is you. You're even there looking at them. So you can decide to be harmful or decide to be harmless. Similar to thieves, similar to witches. So, but because of this kind of the nature of humanity, you need to have ethics, and also apart from ethics, you need to be guided by the law of Zambia, cybersecurity law. So you guys, you have got two guiding documents: ethical conduct document and the laws of Zambia. So I'm sure you have heard of the cybersecurity law of Zambia. Because of the nature of your career, the nature of yes, the nature of ICT environment today. Okay, so I hope I've made some statements which are clear. Clear?
So,
Okay, fine. So let's see, look at the brief theory, which is very important and necessary for this. So penetration testing will have some brief theory and practical. Brief theory and practical. Okay, so risk management. So we begin number two, risk management. Risky management. Security, risky management. Security, risky management. So risk management is a risk. How you manage risks. Okay. I know that maybe you guys have never experienced, or probably you have never been in an environment or in a workplace where you experience the computers of that organization being hacked by external hackers, because those computers had vulnerabilities, weaknesses which the owners did not know. Okay, I know that you have never had experience, but us, when we are sitting behind this desk and talking, we have experience where we came for work, and it was a normal day, 0 day. And then on that 0 day, we had the 0 day attack. Okay, we just found the computers. Oh, first of all, people start complaining, oh, yeah, my computer icons have changed. I can't access Microsoft Word. Oh, okay, I'll be coming. As you go there, you find their icons have turned white. In the background of the screen where there was an ocean, now there is your computer has been hacked. Okay? And then the message says, oops, your files are encrypted. You see? Then you start panicking. Oh, yeah, too bad, too bad. Then try to resolve that issue. Then you find that actually it's not possible to resolve. Someone has hacked the system, and then they are saying they have encrypted those files on that computer. And for you to have the files released, mostly hackers demand that you pay them some amount of money, because my criminals are my guys, they want you to pay them some amount of some money so that they release the files. If you don't pay them, your computer will remain like that. Now, depending on the value of the data that a person has on that computer, they will now panic. How do I retrieve that report? How do I access that information? It is the only information that I have. So what should I do? Should I pay them or what? So you find the hacker also puts an account number. You deposit in this amount, or in a cyber criminal arrangement, they normally like saying pay in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is not possible to trace where you are sending the money. Okay. So that's why security risk management is very important. So you find situations like this. So we would be sitting behind the desk talking to you guys. We have experienced a situation where certain computers have been hacked and the screens looked like this. Your files are encrypted. But in another one say, oops, your files are encrypted. No cry. So if you value the information, I've seen people cry. My information is gone. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm supposed to go for an interview tomorrow. All my CVs are encrypted. So what do you do? I'm supposed to present at this meeting. So what should I do? That's how bad it is. That's why there are laws now that have been released because of such things. Laws and ethics accompanying a profession never to behave in this way. But criminals exist and weaknesses on computers exist. So some of the weaknesses which exist on computers arise from things like maybe old software which is old. Walistako install software number kale sana. And that is the one which was used to penetrate the system. As we go in this one, we will show, we will physically do it ourselves. How you can use an application to penetrate into the system, access the command line for that system, and start running queries on that system. Ulipano kulikali Linux, but we're running every Windows. You browse the files, you visit the Explorer, you go this side, you go this side, you close, you log in again. Are we together? So
Yes,
we
sir.
will do that,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
So please,
Yes, sir.
since it is a practical, it's a practical course, this one is the foundation of your profession. In cybersecurity, theory will not really matter much. It is there to give you guidelines. But the practical aspect is what defines you. So you must love the practical. I beg, you get the point. I simply say, please love this practical. Even if you don't like practical stuff, what you are going to find in this one are commands, command line. If you don't like typing, start loving it, starting today, because there are a lot of scripts, commands. You get the point. So you must just love this, just love it. We'll take it slowly at your own pace, no rushing, because this one is okay. You are a hacker who can't start the system. Then what? How can you hack? You are a penetration tester who can't test. You don't know how to use the tools or the applications. So then what? See what I mean? So yes, that's what it is. So you find that, guys, when a computer has been hacked and it looks like this, ah, Mwandi, this screen you say, you get the point, it's the whole screen. It is the whole screen. You say screen, that's how we say now, we say this. You try to click this and it brings more errors. Computer is damaged. Whatever format. Solution. Number format, it is going to be formatted together with the information. Or what is still, let me just pay this guy. Send $100. You pay. They can decide to decrypt your files or just lie to you. Just like the way the devil is. No wanaenda kunganga inabauza mulipire fya so azapora balipira but umuntu nopo. So even these guys, they may decide to, you pay them, but still you still files, you still remain with the problem. You have lost two things. Now you have lost the files, you have also lost the money. So you could see that actually people have a lot of frustration. So sometimes when they are hacked, you see the frustration. Oh my God. So frustration sets in. Have you seen how this guy looks like? If you some I try with guys. So don't do that to your friends. So, and guys, don't do that to your friends. There is a software called Pegasus. Pegasus software is powerful. It is used for penetrating phones. I don't need to call you. I am in your phone. Anyway, we'll talk about them later. So risk management process is what is that? Okay, so an organization wants to manage risks. Okay? So these are risks that we fear in organizations. Organizations are running on networks. They are also 24/7, 365 present on the internet. So there are risks. When we knock off, we go home, we go and sleep. If we are custodians of these systems, sometimes we sleep less because we are thinking, how safe are we? Management, we are asking management to buy us this too, but they have not bought it. So how safe are we? Whether you are a girl or a boy, that should be your concern. You don't want to come back again the following morning for work to find a situation like this. The organization's files are all encrypted, including backups which are on the network. Network attached storages are all encrypted. God forbid. So these are the risks that we are afraid of, right? If you are going to be a cybersecurity person in that organization after this career, ensure that your infrastructure or your network infrastructure. When we say network infrastructure, we mean servers, we mean all the client computers in the organization, we mean everything on that network. That's what we say network infrastructure. Ensure that your network infrastructure is protected. But sometimes it's beyond you. If it is beyond you, it means you have to rely on management to invest. Now it depends on you how you are going to convince management to invest to protect the network infrastructure, the computers within that network. Because after all, if those computers are hacked, managers start shouting, all irons would be turned on you as a cybersecurity personnel, together with your IT folks, Nama IT fellows. What are you doing? What are you doing? Such things. So you have to be able to convince management to invest to ensure that your network is well protected. If it is a website, well protected, network well protected, data well protected, systems well protected. It is your job. It is your job. So these are the risks that we are normally afraid of. We are afraid of them. And the management must be aware there are risks. We might lose the data. Okay? So risks and security related issues represent an ongoing concern of businesses as well as the field of cybersecurity. To represent an ongoing concern of businesses. But far too often, organizations fail to proactively manage risk. Assessing and analyzing risk should be a continuous and comprehensive exercise in any organization. So you see, guys, so in any organization, assessing and analyzing risk, analyzing risk. Kulibe kulala. Sorry, in Swahili they say hakuna kulala. I've heard of that. Assessing and analyzing risk should be a continuous and comprehensive exercise in an organization. It's like one living in a house. You have to ensure that you have locked your windows before you go to sleep, your doors before you go to. It is a continuous. Today I'm tired, I'll just go and sleep. Okay, go and sleep. Okay, as a member of an organization security team, you will work through risk assessment, analysis, mitigation, remediation, and communication. So risk assessment is the first thing. Okay, it's the first thing. So when you are employed, you be looking at what are the risks. You being cybersecurity person or personnel, you see things in a different way. You step into that environment, you're looking at risks. What are the risks? Yours is assessment already. You are assessing earthquake, fire, data breaches, exposure, attacks, cybersecurity, ransomware, malware, viruses. So yours is risky assessment. From the word go itself, it is inbuilt in you. Your mind is being disciplined to think as a cybersecurity professional. Okay, so risk assessment. So when you have done the risk assessment, of course, you come up with some of them, then you do analyze. Then you put in mitigation. So for us to be like this, in this network, we might need a firewall here, an intrusion prevention system here. Then remediation, if there are some of the things whereby you have found even viruses already on the network, now remediation, what are the remediation? Then all these, if you have now made up a 360 degrees collection of what it is, then you can now communicate to management. Now, communication is another thing whereby you have to give reports, because if it was your organization, you would understand yourself, but it is not yours. So you have to communicate to your bosses, who will communicate to others, for them to release money to come down and do the mitigation and remediation from your assessment. So the communication aspect is also a key component in it, because you have to write a very comprehensive report. Probably it may require also you going there to do a presentation. In a board meeting, you have a PowerPoint there, you are explaining to them the risks in your organization, so that the communication is well understood, and then they can now respond, so that you can carry out remediation and mitigation. Are we together, guys?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. There are many frameworks and models used to facilitate the risk management process, and each organization makes its own determination of what constitutes risk and the level of risk it is willing to accept. Of course, there are certain models which are available, okay, that you can actually use to your benefit. However, there are commonalities among the terms, concepts, skills needed to measure and manage risk. So it is the risk management, eh? It is risk management. You are already in an environment which you are thinking of in terms of risks. What are the risks that exist here? All aspects. If you're looking at an application, you are thinking in terms of, is this application updated? Is it patched? Does it have open ports? Assessment. Okay? Assessment. Okay, so what is the definition of risk? Risk is a measure of the extent to which an entity is threatened by a potential circumstance or event. That is risk. It is often expressed as a combination of adverse impact, the likelihood. So normally expressed in terms of the adverse impacts, okay, and the likelihood. So the risk will be expressed in those terms. What is the impact if this happened? Okay, this building where we are, where we have a network and the servers, everything, what will happen if an earthquake came? What would happen if there was fire? What would happen if there was an attack, like ransomware attack? Ransomware, these are the result of ransom. These are the result of ransomware. Had a bad ransomware, guys. So that is the impact. What will be the adverse, very negative impact that would arise? Okay, so the risk is actually expressed in terms of the adverse impact and the likelihood. How likely is it that it can happen? Sometimes you would be communicating to management and say, okay, in this building, I think maybe there could be an earthquake. And management will say, are you sure? It has never happened in 10 years. So likelihood may mean management will say, okay, I think we can live with the risk of earthquake and volcano, because in 10 decades it has never happened, so we can live with it, it's fine. Even if we don't invest to mitigate, okay, we can live with it. So likelihood is 1 out of 100. That's the likelihood. So what is the possibility that it can happen or we can be hacked? That is the likelihood now. So in most cases, normally you find that management want to preserve spending money. So you have to stress, explain the likelihood. What is the likelihood that when we don't buy antivirus, we'll have viruses on the network? Maybe 10 out of 10. So you explain all that. Okay. Right. So that is what the risk is. So it is expressed in terms of the adverse impact if something happened and the likelihood that this would happen. Okay, information security risk reflects the potential adverse impacts that result from the possibility of unauthorized access, use, disclosure, disruption, modification, or destruction of information systems. So the level of cybersecurity required depends on the level of risk. So partly the level of cybersecurity that is required to apply on the infrastructure depends also on the risk. Okay. sometimes you find that even the level of cybersecurity investment also depends on the risk, the level of the risk. So if the level of the risk is minimal, management may not be willing to invest, to buy. I can assure you guys, you will see that ngatwasa mbok some practical. Okay, ngatwasa as we do. So from today, tomorrow maybe we'll do also theory like this. Then maybe the day after tomorrow, we'll begin. We'll begin. We'll begin. So you will discover that some of the things, like maybe let's say, okay, guys, let us run these commands and see if this organization has secured their network. You will discover that most of them have not, especially in Zambia. Very bad culture in this country. Very bad culture. You find all sorts of things that's coming out from the other people's network on your fingertips. It's up to you to decide to be harmful or not. But in the previous group, okay, hold on there, guys. In the previous group, I requested Mr. Pelekamo to help us with a test environment. A test environment, so that we can be using that test environment to run our commands. Why? We don't want to have our presence on other people's networks. So we were just trying to risk it by simply saying, okay, let's try to see this place. Let's try to see this organization. Let's try to see this organization. Let's go to ZRI. Let's go to something. Are you getting the point? So that we were risking, because those guys can sue us or can sue you. If they discovered your IP address has been maneuvering around in their network. Are you getting me? Are you getting me, guys?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
I get him.
So Elvis Nkan,
Yes, sir.
through you should take a, okay, ufiri watu wale riash umfumu pereka moyo, chief pereka moyo, that mistake of organize nangwa computer imo or officially akale. You get the point, which we can create as a cybersecurity lab environment, so that we can be directing our hacking towards that server. Are we together?
All right, sir.
Because if they find that, okay, I've already explained. If they find that you were somewhere on other people's network and you caused harm, you know the harm that you can cause sometimes, even scanning their network, because some tools that you use to scan a network can actually bombard the servers such that, you know, that scanning, it's like a flood scanning all the servers and they're all responding at the same time. You are creating a DDoS. You know what a DDoS is? You are
Yes, sir.
creating a denial of service. Because our servers now, they start responding to your ping requests or ping swap. As your run gun is running, maybe it will take 1 hour in scanner fee. Our servers will be responding to your ping sweep. Your ping sweep. Mr. Kasonde saying hi.
Oh, hi, sir.
Hey.
How are you?
Hi, sir.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So it's time for practicals now, right?
Yes,
So whatever I was talking about, you have just started. You appreciate it.
Sir, we missed you.
Okay. I miss you. I miss you also.
Thank you.
Okay, continue.
Thank you,
You
sir.
appreciate, guys. Just work hard. Bye.
Professor Kasonde. So that is what normally determines. So you find that the level of cybersecurity required depends on the level of risk the entity is willing to accept. So sometimes when in organizations, or let me say management, so sometimes management, when you present to them a lot of risks, they are willing to accept some and not willing to accept some. Hmm? So the level of cybersecurity depends on that. Okay, depends on that. That is on the potential consequences of what is going on in the environment. So when you show them this, some of the risks, they say, okay, yeah, we can live with it. This one will provide remedy. This one we will invest. This one we can live with it. This one we can live with. So they can accept some they cannot accept them. Sometimes we discover the ones that they did not accept are the ones which comes to occur. And if they occur, issue you did your job, they will appear in your risk register that no, this was actually identified, but management decided to not to accept. Okay, so once we evaluate these risks, now we say really these risks because it could be many, then we implement security controls to mitigate the risks to the level that we find acceptable, or to the level investment allows. Kaina vena ngetaka kwetenda la masonisha iko safi. Kula kana vifafio kushita antivirus. Kula kana na viruses. What do you do?
Nothing.
Apa fio kushita antivirus. And you can't buy from your own pocket. You know these things exist in organizations whereby they have refused to invest. Sometimes partly it's because of how you have communicated to them. Okay? So how you have communicated to them may make them fail probably to understand the problem, probably to make a step even to invest. Why should you spend all this money? Because they cannot understand what you are saying or what it is. They don't have a picture of what's going on. So you see, if you are going to be a consultant in cybersecurity, where you can make a lot of money also, it means you go in this organization, say you go into Zanaco, and then you tell them, I'm a consultant, I can unearth weaknesses in your system. Of course, no, it's impossible. Oh, okay. So give me, okay, if you unearth, no, we'll put you on a payment this much. Okay, fine. Then you run your tools. Choka manje my problem. Then you even simulate how you can hack them. Then they are like, we are not safe. For it is so program. No, we are not safe. You get the point? No, we are not safe. So if you're going to be a consultant, you find that you go in an organization, you run your cybersecurity tools, you conduct your processes. At the end of those processes, risk management, analyzing, everything, then you write up a report which they should clearly understand. So when they have understood, probably can even make in a workshop for them to clearly understand all the simulations. Then they will pay you as a consultant. Then they will invest for mitigation and the remediation. Everything that you can make money also in that. Just consultant, you become like a lawyer. Okay, tam problem rasa kuliwe. You present your cases, wawina, bakulipira. Similarly, Shamana poke about cyber consultants company in Zambia, man. Not yet. In an organization, an organization around. I'm yet to see, but you can be the first one, guys. Out there, they are there. someone will come to you, say, we want you to come and assess. You go and assess, you are paid. Others will come in a hidden way. We want you to attack competitor organization. You attack. God forbid. You attack. So it's the communication that is very important for them to understand, and then they invest because you communicated. So sometimes they will invest because you have communicated well, sometimes because they have understood the problem. Sometimes they will not invest because they have not understood the problem, or they will not invest because they do not have money, even if they have understood the problem. Risk can be from cyber attacks. Cyber attacks are wide range, okay, such as malware, social engineering. Although social engineering is not really an attack, it is just like a seduction kind of. They are trying to attract you into, or to be defrauded. That's social engineering. Or kuzembaika. In other words, social engineering kuzembaika. But you are zembaikaing people who are inside the organization to release information or to release passwords and usernames. Social engineering. But malware is a serious risk. So risk can be from cyber attacks such as malware, in which also ransomware exists. Okay. The problem with the malware is that when it is on your network, you cannot know. And your network doesn't show slowness like the way viruses behave. Okay. So risks can be from cyber attacks such as malware, social engineering, denial of service attacks, or from situations that affect our environment like earthquake, fire, crime, natural disasters. Okay. So those are the importance of risk management. What do we mean when we say threat or threats and vulnerabilities? So the risk management starts also from here of vulnerabilities and the threats. After you do your assessment, of course, what you come up with are weaknesses or gaps or vulnerabilities. And then you also identify threats. What is scaring you? A vulnerability is a gap or weakness in an organization's protection of its valuable assets, including information. A threat is something or someone that aims to exploit a vulnerability. That is a threat. So it could be anything that can exploit a weakness or a vulnerability. Okay, that's a threat. Okay. So some terminologies. An asset is something in need of protection. So mainly the network infrastructure of any organization is regarded as an asset. The data in that organization is also regarded as an asset. The equipment on which the data sits and on which the network runs is also regarded as an asset. So those are worth protection. A vulnerability or vulnerabilities existing in one of those are simply gaps and weaknesses, while a threat is something that can exploit the gap or the weakness or the vulnerability to compromise the assets. Compromise assets. A threat is a person or thing that takes action to exploit or make use of an organization's system vulnerabilities as part of achieving or furthering its goal objectives. So right, so threat actors can include the following. So threats yengi. Threats yengi. Insiders, sometimes deliberately, by human error or gross incompetence. So insiders can be actually threat actors. So sometimes you find that maybe you develop software in that organization, and an insider who is a developer, a programmer, creates a program and opens doors in that program. Deliberately or sometimes by simply error, not knowing. It is your job to identify some of those as risks and mitigate. How went to your guys? Okay, another one is outside individuals or informal groups. So those are the people who are actually opportunists, who are discovering vulnerabilities. You know, one day I was shocked. There is this web server which we were testing inside the network. That's what I'm saying, inside the network. So it was like we had an argument. Things are working here. Why don't we put it there so that people can access it? When you say people can access it, it means bring it outside the network so that people can see it, expose it so that people can begin to use the facility on that server. So as security, we said, no, we cannot allow this server to go outside. Why? Because it is in the heart of the inside the network. And then people went behind our back and then also informed the bosses, the director. Then the director issued a statement to say, allow them, let them expose it. So instead of writing a disclaimer, we said, no, sir, okay, let's give it a benefit of doubt, but we will show you that this is what's going on. And we exposed that server. Bah! The exposure was just, I think, a space of 30 minutes. Now we could see how those people who discover vulnerabilities discovered a lot of the vulnerabilities on that server. And then we had a list, pages up to 100 of people following that server. They're following it like it's on, where they follow, like on Instagram. Following that server now, also testing and exploiting, trying to hack it. And then we brought the report to the director to say, sir, by morning, if we are not hacked, Nishi, Katoishi. The director said, no, put it down. So we had to remove it immediately after showing him a report. So you could see that the outsiders are more on discovering vulnerabilities across the internet. Okay? So while we have insiders, we have also outsiders who are individuals, sometimes they are organizations. Some of these guys have put tools which scan the network throughout to discover who is joining the network. First time, okay, they they discover vulnerabilities and they exploit them. So apart from those outsiders, also formal entities that are non-political, formal entities that are political, intelligence or information gatherers, okay, technology, those who run bots and artificial intelligence, or threat actors. So we have more threats than we thought. Okay, immediately you turn on your computers, it is exposed to threats. A vulnerability is an inherent weakness or flaw in a system or component, which if triggered or acted upon would cause a risk event to occur. Okay? So you, as a cybersecurity person or people or team, we have emphasized that you strive to decrease these vulnerabilities. So that is the reason for penetration testing. So any network that calls itself that it's a network, we must analyze it in terms of vulnerabilities, weaknesses it has. Okay? Weaknesses it has, and then strive to saying remediation and mitigation. Very important. Failure to that, of course, it will be hacked in no time. So the reason for penetration testing is to find those problems or those vulnerabilities. That's why we penetrate, test if we can penetrate. Find the problems, find the vulnerabilities, we implement cybersecurity controls of penetration testing. You will be penetrating, testing, or you'll be penetrating because you want to find the weaknesses. Find the weaknesses. When you find the weaknesses, it doesn't end there. You mitigate based on what management can offer. Okay. So sometimes there are matrices where you find that you'll be looking at priorities, which one it comes first. Sometimes the list can become the most dangerous. And that's where the problem is. So find the vulnerabilities, we mitigate. We find the images, we protect our network. Okay? Likelihood. When determining an organization's vulnerabilities, the security team will consider probability or likelihood. Okay, we have seen the vulnerabilities, they are here. We have quantified them. Now we are saying, what is the probability that this can happen on our website? Probability that this can be exploited on our network. Probability that we could be hacked by malware. Probability that our website could be spoofed without us knowing. The likelihood. Okay? So likelihood of occurrence is weighted factor based on a subjective analysis of the probability that a given threat or set of threats is capable of exploiting a given vulnerability or set of vulnerabilities. Okay? Then finally, of course, you'll be looking at the impacts. What would be the impact of the unauthorized modification of student results, if it is Kapasa Makasa, for example, or if you are employed by a university? What will be the impact of disclosure of the information of our products? What will be the impact of unauthorized destruction of the information or loss of the information system availability? So it's vulnerabilities or risk, likelihood, and impact. Very, very, very important issues. Very, very, very important issues. So the whole penetration testing hinges on these guys. Why do we do penetration tests? Why do we do ethical hacking? Because of the risks in which vulnerabilities exist, the likelihood, the resulting adverse impact in this. That is in essence our career, guys. That is in essence our career. Okay. That is in essence our career. So, do we have any question? Any question? Or I've lost you?
We are here, sir.
Okay, that is good. So, do you have any question? If no question, this is a picture of the issues of how it looks. It may not look like this, but that's how it looks when you are hacked by ransomware. You know, ransomware, the way it is, once it gets onto your network, you will not know. The ransomware can be used to turn off the antivirus. Then this hacker would now travel in this server. They will travel to another server, and they travel in all servers. If they wish, they can start copying all the files from without you knowing. It's called exfiltration. They start now exfiltrating information. Ba copying ayo, you see data morgan is mumwe. Imana mulala. Ba copying using a malware. Have you ever heard of Ukraine has been hacked, or is it Russia has been hacked? These guys are using malware. Okay, there is also what's called cyber war using some of these tools like malware. And at the end of this, now they can end their hacking with a fire by simply encrypting your files, and then off they go. Then you remain and know that, oh, I am hacked. We are hacked. Sometimes they will display a banner, you have been hacked by a group called the Islamic world. I think I had an experience like that one time. You have been hacked by the Islamic world. Now that is appearing on the website like a banner. Yeah, what do we do? Damage, bring down the website, start reconstructing it. Okay, so risk management is very important. So it is a theory. In your practical, there will be a brief theory and a practical. Sometimes the theory will lead you to a practical in your questions. Okay, that is on the final exam. So make sure you study them, including the practical that we'll be looking at. Study them. So, on a practical level, I would love that each person does the practical. Because sometimes you find that people sit around someone who is performing the commands, while themselves are just watching. So it's important that each person does hands-on. The previous class was a bit small, so they were able to, at least each person, do his own. I don't want any one of you guys to fail. I want all of you to practically pass. Right? So that's what I want. So from the word go, when we begin, I shall want all of you. If you don't have a laptop, please, can you organize it? Can you organize that laptop? If you do not have it, go to the lab and declare one computer your computer. That's where you'll be doing things. Okay. Okay, so prerequisites. I will need you guys to install a software, a VMware desktop, and a hacking tool. Of course, there are so many hacking tools that are there, but we will be using Kali Linux as one of the tools to do our penetration testing. because of the number of utilities and tools that it has. Okay, so our platform will be Kali Linux. Yeah. So what I'll do, I'll organize somebody from the previous class. I'm sure one of them could have the files so that they could give to Elvis. Hi, Elvis song. So they could give,
Yes, sir.
yeah, they give you, then those are the files that you will distribute to the rest so that they can install. That VMware desktop has a license inside those files, so you can install, or somebody can show you how to install, and also subsequently how to install the Kali Linux, and so that you are able to start it. Okay, I'll be very happy to see most of your screens with Kali Linux. You will show me when we meet before we begin. Right? Before you begin for the practical.
Right, sir.
So take it easy at your own pace. We'll take it slowly. More practical for you, but technology mastering is difficult. So I don't want to struggle somebody when it is a final exam. We don't want. We want you to be proficient from the word go. Proficient, able to do. Because that is your career. Okay, if you don't know practical, then what? Okay, answer me, guys. What then what?
Yes, sir.
Nothing, sir.
It's nothing. So Nishi, how are you going to hack systems? No practical base. No practical base. So how do you? How? Okay, how? How? No
Work
way.
done is equal to 0.
Zero. Hi George.
Sure, sir.
So Nishi for your program go finish. So guys, at your any pace, knowing, don't get intimidated by anything. Do not, far from it. In fact, ngakataka problem, be motivated to have it corrected. Okay, don't give up. Wow, if you have money, make sure at least your laptop has got 4 GB. Anyway, see, you already have your laptops, but it must have a good Lunan. Me, the Linux I'm using is a 2018 ISO, but I've upgraded it. Up now, it is the latest. It's like 2022, 2023, sorry. So you can install Kali Linux 2021, 2022, 2023. Even 2018 is okay. So, Elvis, I will speak to somebody. Then I will link you up, guys, so that you can get those files and go to the computer lab for those who do not have, and please install. On your laptops, please install. Don't feel lazy. Please
All right,
install.
sir.
That's why I was saying, if you don't know practical, so then, okay, theory. Okay, fine, theory. Today's interviews have got practical component. Are you able to hack a website? At yes. Okay, go and hack. They'll give you a website, they'll give you a computer. Areka yo ambe tumwe. Takote practical. Theory yoko wadidama Chimono kwa bati, you're an accountant, but why you come for calculator? Shimono kamera bashan. You have no you don't know how to use a calculator, but how? Okay, how? You see, that's how it is.
Pardon, sir.
So that should be your friend.
Impossible.
So there are many tools, but Kali Linux is powerful. It is called offensive security. Offensive security meaning we can use it to attack as well as penetrate. Decide to be harmful or passive. Na tuingira mu network ya muntu tulepita mufi tulikata kufisionze hawe tulepita mufi. How to get tandalafi, drive by, or if you like fly by. No, I was just passing by. Natira pita fie ndem mona for my color. That is those tools that it has. How natira tandalafi mkwai. I log out yao chapa naya. And for after 6 months, if I try to see if you have closed that port which you left open through which I entered last time, I try to see if let me see if these guys have closed. Nichifuku chapa na mfume fishonse. Naingira kwa ya esuka Teonet successful. They have not closed. These guys either they don't know. Again natandara futi again ngandefu natandara fie naya. But ngandefu I will press the red button. Fire. But now that is being bad. Mula going to church. You guys should be going to church. Aye. Let's go to church sometimes.
Yes,
So that natandara fe pita. Leave people the way they are. Like a witch. Ale putika people mulelanda. Afuma. God forbid those people go to hell. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Fire.
Amen.
Yeah. So if guys, so for today, let's call it a day. I'm told that we are doing screening. I don't know if it's done or not yet.
Exactly, sir.
Okay, guys. So I'll send that PowerPoint. Then we'll discuss another one tomorrow, and then we'll begin. We'll do the installation first. Okay. So let me link this to somebody so that you can get the files and share them on a flash. Okay, guys. Have a nice day.
Good day.
Sure, sir.
Sir.
All right.